Hi, this is Amber.
And this is Lisa.
And you're listening to Unexplained Arkansas, a new podcast that explores urban legends, mysteries, and the unsolved in the natural state.
We're just two best friends discussing the unexplained in Arkansas.
Hello and welcome to Unexplained Arkansas. I can't say it without laughing. I'm Amber.
I'm Lisa.
And this is our second recording of the night. So if we're a little loopy, it's because we're tired. But we have a really fun story for everyone. We had a little field trip with this case. So we're doing things a little differently, where we talk about the case first, and then at the end of the podcast we'll talk about our personal stuff, and we'll do the banter and all that, because I know some people enjoy that because we've had lots of good feedback about it. But then other people want to get straight to the facts, so we've kind of flip-flopped it. So if you're waiting to hear our silly banter, you can wait to the very end. You have to wait to the end, or fast forward. If you're just here for the banter, fast forward.
Yeah, just fast forward.
So today we are going to be on episode 7, and it is called, yes, I'm excited. Lucky 7. Yeah.
Hey,
Lucky 7.
I have a thing real fast. This is for the Seinfeld people. Remember what George wanted to name his kid?
I don't remember. You were a
7
Seinfeld person. Oh, 7. I was the Friends person. You were the Seinfeld person. Yeah, which Seinfeld. I think that says a lot about our personalities. So.
Yes.
But I was a Friends devotee, and you were just all about the Seinfeld.
Love the Seinfeld.
I'd watch it, but, I would never miss Friends. Oh. Okay, so, yes, we are on lucky number 7, and we will be talking about Dehorn's grave today. So, Lisa is the one telling the story, so I'm going to let her go ahead and get started.
And really, this story begins with my one of my
laugh already.
Sorry, one of my best friends, other than Amby.
Don't call me Amby.
No, it's happening. Just embrace it. But other than Amby,
it makes me think of Gumby.
Gumby. I did like that show. One of my best friends, whenever she heard about us doing this podcast, so she's like, "Oh." Well, and actually before, I think she was like, because she knew I loved ghost stuff, and she's like, "I've got to take you to Dehorn's grave." And this is my friend Fran. She is from a little town called McCrory. And McCrory is what? You think like 20 miles from us?
Gosh, no, it's more than that.
30?
It takes about 35 minutes to, I don't know, maybe 30? 40. I don't know. My husband worked in Augusta for a long time, and it would take about 35 minutes, I guess, for him to get to work. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah. And from here, so in McCrory, we're talking this place is small, like small town. They do have their own school, and we'll get into that, but they're small. Yeah.
Yeah. They're very small.
I do have,
and I got to see how small last night when we went on our little adventure.
Like McCrory, and when I say so Fran is from McCrory, and this story about Dehorn's grave is not actually. In fact, she texted me because she is very technical, and so she texted me and said that we were in this Dehorn's grave was in what was called, I think I called it clay, but it's gray. It's like I don't even know if you could call it a town. It's like a Providence or a community
or a township or something.
Yeah. Yes. It's not even like, this is small place, but she said that, literally right down the road from that was a community called DeView.
Oh, okay.
But she did say we were, I'm trying to find it. Because she texted me and she was like, we were in Clay, or I had said Clay on our live that we had posted, but
that's right, because we did have a live last night, and we had just a few people on there, including my aunt, who then called my mother, who then called me and asked me what in the world I was doing in the middle of a field, because that's where it was right next to a field.
Yes.
It wasn't that late. It was like 8.
We didn't go late. We were home by like 9:30.
All I know is by the time I got home, she had called my husband and said, "Do you know where your wife is? She's in a graveyard." So, yeah.
And he's like, of course, old potato.
So I got in a little bit of trouble, and then I had to call her when I got home to tell her that I was not in jail for trespassing.
Yeah, we did not trespass according to what I understand, but
yes.
Allegedly we did not trespass, but okay. But this is just a small community, and McCrory is literally like the city has a population of 1,583 as of 2020, and the area is like 2 miles, like 2 square miles is pretty much McCrory. Okay, and this is located in Woodruff County, and like I said, it's like when she said, like, she's from McCrory, but this Dehorn's grave is literally in like a little community that's adjacent. So it's like all runs together. So when I say McCrory or Augusta, well, those are 2 different things and I think rivals. But anyway, I'm going to say McCrory when I talk about this, but it is Woodruff County. So, and it does say that McCrory was established in 1890. That's when I guess they got their official incorporation. So they were incorporated in 1890. And pretty much the railroad, like a lot of other towns, the railroad was kind of essential. And McCrory is pretty much farmland. In fact, Fran, my bestie that introduced us to this story, so her family, they are farmers. Like her dad was in farming and it still is, and her brother is in farming. So this area is very important. And I know if you're across the country, if you are eating rice and soybeans and such, it probably came from Arkansas. Yeah, so just saying.
A lot of it. Yeah. A lot of it.
Think of farm.
A lot of it has. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is so important. We need our farmland. So, but very, very diverse in farming. Okay. So there. But it does talk about cotton way back whenever McCrory was being established, like the main crop at that time was cotton. So now it is not, but cotton was a big to do. And there were slaves. Way back. Well, this was established in 1890, so there wouldn't have been slaves at that time because of the Emancipation Proclamation. But way before the incorporation, just the area in general did have some slaves. And I was told, like, one of the reports did say that the cemetery that we went to was a quote unquote slave cemetery, but I don't believe that. That was kind of interesting. So, but Fran did tell me that, she wanted to take me to Dehorn's grave. And so, because evidently there's, like it's haunted, like it was spooky and it was a grave, and she knew I loved cemeteries.
So it was it was like the place that all the teenagers would go to get scared.
Yes.
Okay.
So we literally went there last night because if nothing else, we are true to our craft, right? Like we're in it.
Well, and also we want to own the rights to all our media, so we go and take our own pictures whenever possible. Like most of the pictures, like most of the pictures you see on our Facebook, there's a few that I borrow, but I always say where I got the source. But a lot of the stuff, I'm either taking the photos myself, Lisa's taking the photos, and or I'm using AI. There is a really good app called Canva, and I use AI to make a lot of those cool pictures that I post.
Yes. And so we like to go, I mean, especially if it's right there. And McCrory is like just right there for us.
Yeah, it's just right there. And I will tell you this, that I like a good ghost story, but I'm not really a big, believer in ghosts and things like that. Well, I've never seen evidence of it myself. I have an aunt that owns a haunted house outside of Dallas, actually. Is that where it is? It's somewhere in Texas. But yeah, so I don't really think that I'm just a big ghost. I love to go on a ghost hunt because it's fun and, it's funny, but
it's fun.
I don't know. I don't know. I love the stories. I love telling ghost stories, and I love unexplained stories. So last night was a lot of fun. I really wasn't in the mood to do a big ghost run, but then by the time we got there, we just laughed all the way there. And we found out Fran's one of my sorority sisters. So
we did
I love her too. Yeah, we did find out that we're sorority sisters. So she was there a few years before me. So, but anyway, it was a really good time. And so, I thought that cemetery was really neat though.
Yes, it was. And I thought, okay, so the way that Fran because Fran had actually been out to Dehorn's grave when she was in high school. And so the way that she was remembering it was like a very far trek into the woods, okay, to get to this grave. And when we say Dehorn, the name is William Dehorn. So when I did look this up, but if you're from McCrory, it's called Dehorn. Dehorn's grave. And all Fran could remember was that it was haunted. She didn't really remember a lot about it, but she, so she actually, before we went, we agreed to go. I was actually in Branson. So me and my family drove back to Branson.
I still can't believe you did that you came home from Branson. You were home, I could see you on the 360. You were literally home 12 minutes. And then you're like, I'm on my way. And I'm like, oh, because I didn't have any clean clothes. They were all in the dryer. Laundry is a mess at my house. And so Ryan, my middle, comes in there and he's like, Lisa's here. I'll stall her. That's literally what he said. So
he came and met me at the car. But I was like, I just have to get home. Like Fran worked because she had to work till 4:30, and then she had her youngest had something going on, so her husband had to relieve her, and then so we all agreed, okay, we're gonna meet at 5:30 at 5:45 ish and drive, and do the grave thing. And then we were going to have Pizza Plus because McCrory, I'll just tell you this was really the draw for me. McCrory is tiny, but they have this cute little downtown area, and they have this pizza place, and I've eaten there once before with Fran, of course, and her family, and it's called Pizza Plus, and it has the best pizza, and they actually
it really was good.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. And
I was impressed.
My love language, pizza. But anyway, they do have a location in Bald Knob, which is in between Searcy and McCrory, just saying. And it is good too. It's the same people, I guess. But anyway, so we were going to do the cemetery.
Did Graveyard and Pizza Plus.
Yes, that was our plan. And so we decided we needed good shoes. We needed flashlights. And it was freezing cold yesterday. So we needed.
Are you explaining how to do a ghost hunt?
Yes. So we needed, because we didn't know. And a weapon.
Well, let me tell you what she did.
Okay.
Okay, so I was frazzled because I'd spent all day at home cleaning and yelling at my boys. And so I got in the car with nothing. I was going to bring a lantern, a flashlight. Nothing. I got nothing. So because I didn't bring anything, I ended up with the headlight, with the flashlight that you put on your head.
Hey, I gave you my beanie.
That's true.
I wore Daryl's.
Yeah.
And gloves.
Well, I'm just saying, in all the pictures, I look goofy because I have a flashlight on my head.
Yes, you have and I had, and Daryl gave me his flashlight, and he was like, you cannot lose this. I was like, okay, I will not lose. Anyway, Fran did come with a flashlight. So we were prepared, and Fran said to bring a bat, which I did not have a bat, but I did have scissors in my car.
The bat
remember? Well, Fran had texted me. She said, okay, we're going to the cemetery. We need a flashlight. It could be muddy, and bring a bat. And I think she was joking, partially joking.
I think she was joking. But
I don't know, but she said that she had nightmares the night before. She was worried. I think she was
a bat was going to take care of all that.
Yes, but I literally had scissors, and we ended up leaving them in the car. We left the scissors.
I asked you if you were just going to shear them to death because it was a pair of shears. I think it was pinking shears. I don't know, but it was.
Oh, it was those
yellow scissors. I thought it was pinking shears.
Like crafting. They're like crafting scissors, or
So you brought crafting scissors on a trek through a cemetery with no streetlights. Okay, awesome.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So we get to the cemetery, and it really was a very awesome place. I thought, okay, now this is creepy. It gave me total Blair Witch vibes.
It did.
So I don't know if it was that or if it was the beanie I had on.
It was the beanie.
My nose wasn't running, so
my nose was running. It was a mid-treat. It was a wintry mix.
It was a wintry mix.
We had snow, people.
Well, do you remember the scene in Blair Witch where she's got the hoodie on and her nose is running and I don't remember what she's saying, but like just the landscape, it was so grown up. Nobody had been taking care of that cemetery. And so I was like, oh my gosh, this is total Blair Witch. So,
but we did get there. I mean, we did not trek. And Fran was thinking, okay, so there was like a gate, okay, and we were able to pull right up almost to the grave.
Yes.
And Fran was
it was easy access. And, talking about trespassing this or that. But
it was dark.
Cemeteries, public cemeteries, you always have to have a right of way so people can visit the cemetery. So, that is actually, I think, I don't know, you know about that kind of stuff.
Well, whenever I don't know if this is like a public, it did have a cemetery sign, which we will, I think we did post or we will post, but
I have it.
I think from what I've read about Dehorn's grave, like most of the time that gate is closed and people do have to trek through a field. So I think Fran was thinking that you had to go a long way to get to it. And I think that's because that pull-in that we were able to do last night was not always there. Does that make sense?
Well, thank goodness it was, because I don't know if I would have been up for a trek through the wilderness.
I'm telling you, had we had to walk like several feet... No, I'm just kidding. Like, we got out of the car and we literally were like 20 feet from the ground.
Well, you told me to wear warm clothes and wear shoes that I could get dirty, which, neither one of those things sounded fun to me. But I did it anyway. Yes. And when we get there, I'm looking around. The first thing I say is, why didn't we do this during the day? And so why? What's the legend say?
So here's the legend. And Fran, again, did not, quote unquote, remember the full-fledged legend, but this is the legend, okay? Are you ready?
Yes.
So I'm ready. Legend of Woodruff County, as few are told more than others. There was once a man that lived in the area in the late 1800s and early 1900s named Dehorn. Dehorn was considered a very intelligent minister during his lifetime. This is the legend. However, many people believe that he explored the dark side and was involved in so-called black magic, amongst other things.
This is creepy. See, I know. You didn't tell me any of this before we went. I don't know if I would have went if you told me all this.
I know. So some of his actions convinced the townspeople that he was capable of supernatural powers, and they captured him, and this is the legend, and quote-unquote hung him from a large tree in Woodruff County. That tree is still there today, as is his tombstone just under it. Upon his execution,
we were there where he had been executed?
No.
You didn't tell me that either.
Legend. Keep listening.
But still, you didn't tell me that. Bless his heart.
Upon his execution, Dehorn requested for his stone to be facing the west, so he did not have to see Jesus return to earth. This is the legend. And it said that on full moon nights, Dehorn's grave will glow a dim green. It is said that no matter how... It said that no matter how hard you throw a glass bottle at the stone, it will not break. There is also a very creepy saying on the stone, and I cannot. And this is posted by just someone online that literally calls himself Mr. Never Sleep. But
Mr. Never Sleep.
Yeah. And he says,
sorry, I'm going to laugh about that for just a second. Mr. Never Sleep.
Mr. Never Sleep.
Followed by Mr. Adderall. So
yeah, Mr. Never Sleeps. So this is what he's posting. Evidently, he couldn't sleep, and he posted this. And he posted some other tales from like other places, and he did talk about some Indian burial grounds close by too.
Oh wow! So okay,
and mentioned that this was the Delta region, which on our episode 6 we talk about the Delta region. So and what that refers to is primarily like farming, the Delta farmland. And again, McCrory is huge in farming. So that is the legend. So Fran, just all Fran told me of this legend before we went was that we need to go to Dehorn's grave and you're supposed to go on a full moon. Okay. So that's all she had told me. But the reason for the full moon is because supposedly that this tombstone will glow green. Now, I did look last night when we went. It was cloudy out, so of course we didn't see the moon at all times.
You could have at least told me that part, that it's supposed to be glowing green. And what's so funny is, like, I edited one of the pictures from last night, and
did you make
gave
it green?
Kind of, yeah, I did, not knowing that. So
that's hilarious.
So the picture on Facebook looks a little green. So that was green. That was not Dehorn.
Well, that was just by happenstance. So she did. We did talk about last night. Me and you, after the fact, we were like, after we had gotten back to Searcy, you were like, "Well, it looked like a full moon," and I did check.
Yeah.
Because it was a 94% moon. Like we had a full moon on the 27th.
Okay.
So we went out there the 29th. So we had 94% moon, but it was cloudy. So we did not see this, quote unquote. Now I will say, when we went out there, we tracked all around, and his grave, Dehorn's grave, is facing away. Like it doesn't, like all the other tombstones out there, and we're not talking a lot of tombstones, but the other tombstones were facing like the car where we parked.
Right.
But we had
his
to walk.
Was facing a different way.
Yeah, his was facing a different way. I don't know. And then he did have a special
memorial on the other side.
Yes, he had another like tombstone that looked a lot newer. But his grave does say this. So and this is what this man was alluding to, I guess. So the old stone that does not face, it faces opposite the other stones. It says William M. Dehorn, born May 11th, 18...
I just sneezed. Did you pick that up? Oh, yes, I've never sneezed on here before. We've been here so long, it caught one of my sneezes. There we go. Go ahead.
Bless you.
Yeah. I'm not going to edit that out. We're just going to keep that sneeze in.
We're going to roll with it. It's life.
Yeah.
Born May 11th, 1872. He died November 24th, 1944. So he lived a long time. Here lies a man with special God-given power who have healed and read the lives of thousands of people. He was a faithful servant of God to the end. And then it says age 72. So he lived to be 72. And there is a lot of, that legend that Mr. Never Sleepies
Never Sleeps
mentioned. So it talks about, I did find other comments and such about how Dehorn supposedly, was into dark things or into, I don't know, didn't want to face Jesus' return and all that. That seems nonsense. Because everything else that I have found, it does say that he was, he had special God-given powers. And in fact, he had a nickname. He according to what I found from a Kip Davis, who is evidently a Woodruff County historian and evidently running for judgeship.
Oh, cool.
Now, in Woodruff County, he has several stories on the line that were picked up by the Arkansas Democrat Gazette online information, and his information just mentions that William M. Dehorn was called Reverend. Like he wasn't a reverend.
Okay.
But people called him that. So he was a very God-fearing individual. So I think, anywho, I have thoughts that I'll tell at the end. But he definitely lived a long life, and his tombstone even discusses how he was a servant of God. So, I mean, come on. So, but this Kip Davis, he does, I guess he works in Augusta, which is right there near McCrory in Woodruff County.
Right.
He is the vice president, at least at this time of this, he was vice president of the Woodruff County Historical Society. So he mentions his love of history, and that he, has dived into the Dehorn stories. And he does say that he's always felt a little uneasy when he's gone out to visit the grave of Dehorn. He's always felt as though he was being watched, and he's always felt like he should show like respect. So he respected, like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like he just kind of respected. But he did say that, one time one of his friends and him decided to do some ghost hunting, just because they were kind of interested in that, and they had gotten some equipment and whatnot. And so he did say Dehorn was not a real reverend, and that he lived in a small house in Patterson. In Patterson, I will say, again, when we talk about McCrory, Patterson, Gray, these are tiny little communities. They all connect. They're all like a second from each other. Okay. So evidently Patterson, where he lived, was like right by McCrory. But anyway, he did say that one time he went to Dehorn's grave and his car battery went dead.
Oh, wow.
So he did have.
Now, I've heard legends like that from, in different places, different stories. And it's always the car dies. It's always if you turn the car off at night.
Yes.
There was like a story like that. A couple, actually, I think, in White County.
Yes. So. And and that did have, there was one in White County. Was it in Judsonia? And I think
it was either in Judsonia or Payburn. And it was by the river. And it's if you turned your car off and at a certain time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That happened allegedly. To my sister-in-law, Dorothy. So she did have that happen. And we will that is for another day.
Allegedly, Dorothy.
But it did say, Kip Davis again did mention that Dehorn actually had solved many cases for the police. So
interesting.
Dehorn was kind of a fortune teller, or
seer.
Yes, he kind of knew things, and that's kind of what he was known for. So he did say that, according to legend or whatever. And I could not find anything to substantiate these claims, but I'm sure Kip may have, dived into
a lot of this comes from oral tradition, oral history, things like that. So the stories do get changed. Sometimes they get a little bit scarier. Sometimes they get a little more interesting as the stories progress through the years. And so I think that's one of the things that draws me to folklore, and why I like it so much is because, it is so rich in old tradition, and I mean, it changes. The stories change. I mean, these people told stories to keep them alive.
Yes. And and if you think about it, okay, so when I dived into even our first episode, the Gertie Galloway, I went to the White County Library, and it had the newspaper, the Daily Citizen, microfiche or whatever. And it looked.
Did you say microfiche?
Microfiche.
Microfilm.
Microfilm. The microfilm.
And those little microfiche.
Those little Anyway, the microfilm, there were hardly any newspapers that went before 1920, so a lot of things get lost or burned, or, by the time they're uploaded to the internet, it's just hard to get actual fact of old documents. It's just really, really hard.
That's why I like going to the libraries. I plan on going to the Jackson County Library soon,
but it did say,
go ahead. Oh no, that was the end of the thought.
Do you want to talk some more about libraries, Amber? I like a good library story.
I could talk forever about libraries, but go ahead.
I do love libraries. But he did say, so Dehorn had helped the police locate the body of a young boy who disappeared while swimming in the Cache River close by.
Oh goodness.
And it did, he also goes on to say, many people getting off the train there in Patterson, McCrory area, they would just literally ask where to find Dehorn. So his storytelling, had kind of, I guess he got kind of famous for that. And so they would, find him because he could tell their future, or he could, he was also known to heal sick people. So he was kind of, a healer, so to speak. He does remember, this Kip Davis says, he remembers when he was a kid, an older lady had told me that she had went, requesting the services of Dehorn. She went late in the evening, and she was greeted at the door, and she went in to see Dehorn, and he told her right away, he said, get in your car and drive home as quickly as possible.
Oh, wow.
And she told her she was going to have an accident, but she would come into some money. So I guess he wanted her to leave. So before it got dark, and so on the way home, the lady had a tire blowout of her car. And then she said as she was putting on the last lug nut on the car tire, something caught her eye in the ditch. She could kind of see something. And she walked over to it, and it was a $20 bill. So Dehorn had called it. She came into some money. She did have a little car thing. But I guess he saw something worse. And so he was like, get on the road. And then there was evidently he had, Davis said another story. So there is evidently a brick mausoleum located there in Augusta. Oh, are you okay? Oh,
yeah.
And
I just heard somebody yelling in my house, but that could be like anybody. I think it was the baby.
I just heard that.
That was the baby. I think it's getting to be bedtime, and he's looking for me. So he just goes down the hallway and goes
screaming.
He can't say mommy yet, so he just says
screams.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
Yes.
But he did talk about another story where there's evidently like a brick mausoleum in Augusta, and evidently the hair stands up, when he went. I don't know. But this was Kip Davis. So, and I will give him a little plug. I think he has some books evidently on the Amazon. So, and I do have some more stories for you. Okay. Are you ready?
Okay. I'm ready. I kind of put it on mute, so you didn't hear my kids.
Yikes. If you hear screaming children, it's at Amber's house. My child is not home. Yeah. Oh, I just got a friend request from Kip Davis. So maybe he responded. I did.
Really?
I did reach out to Kip, actually, because, I reached out to him, and he did say, oh, okay. So he's done a lot of research on Dehorn, and he's actually seen his death certificate. Listen to this.
Oh, wow.
And he died of pneumonia. Because my question was, some of the things that I was finding was saying something about him being executed, which I felt like was ridiculous or whatever. But he did see his death certificate, and William Dehorn did die of pneumonia at 72. So, debunked. The legend of Dehorn.
Okay, so the legend has been debunked. Again, another legend debunked by Unexplained Arkansas. So we're getting good at that.
So yay.
I hope people don't think we're like killjoys or anything when we find out the real story behind these legends.
Well, I think, and we'll talk about that. But there is some more interesting. So there was an article that mentioned about Dehorn's grave that talks about the two-headed man. Okay, or is that like a hoodoo term or a clairvoyant term? I think that's like a clairvoyant term, like two-headed, something like that. I think that has something to do with being a psychic. I think it kind of, and maybe because he could do the fortune telling. But this describes it. Dehorn's grave is located on a quiet country road. Just around a curve, there's a gate that looks like it leads to a wide open field. So this describes a gate.
That's on point. Yeah, that is totally on point.
So we just pulled
hey, come on in.
There.
Well, maybe Dehorn opened it for us and said, "Hey, come on in, girls. Wear your little your lights on your head. Wear your head flashlights.
Your flashlights, because this does say beyond the gate is technically trespassing." And it says there is a small, hidden, undoubtedly odd cluster of graves.
But people knew we were there, so we did not trespass.
And there was, I will say, the legend talked about broken bottles. I saw a lot of broken bottles out there.
I did
bottles,
see trash and stuff.
Yeah. So I don't know if people still try to like throw the bottles at his grave because allegedly it won't, they won't break or whatever. But there was
a little bit of trash. We saw this one piece of metal, and we all three looked at it. We're like, "Oh my gosh, what is this? Is this a gun?" And we looked, and it was an old DVD player part.
Well, we thought it was. What did we think it was? Oh, Fran was like, "Is that a gun?"
Yeah.
And I was
we were like the Scooby Gang. We're like, "Oh my goodness!"
So it does say the Dehorn's grave is passed down from oral, tradition. So this one talks about Dehorn, this kind of goes with what we found before. There, okay, yeah, that's kind of. Sorry, bear with me, okay. It just a lot of people had posted about the. A lot of people had posted the same legend about Dehorn's grave, that we've already discussed. But some people said this. So Mr. Dehorn, and this is just it doesn't say who posted this, but it was posted on ForgottenAugusta.com. Okay. So it just says, Mr. Dehorn was a good person. He helped out a lot of people find things that they had lost and livestock that had gotten out. He had visitors come from all over and talk with him from out of state. He also assisted the sheriff back in the day. And this also mentions about the drowning victim in the White River.
Okay, which isn't too far from there. That's where I was today, actually.
Yes. So it's that White River kind of winds through all of that area, McCrory, Newport. Yeah. It kind of goes through that area, but the White River, this person says, I'm not disputing any claims of weird happenings at the grave, at the cemetery, because they have heard weird things themselves. So evidently people did have some weird instances. So this is one. So me and some buddies went out there multiple times. And the first time my buddy took, this says his buddy decided to go urine on the grave. Okay. And
urine on the grave? You mean urinate? Urinate?
He urinated on the grave. Yes.
Well, that wasn't very nice.
And he said, and evidently when his buddy did this, 2 canaries popped up. Okay. That was weird.
2 canaries?
That's what I'm reading.
I thought like cardinals and ravens, those were the kinds of birds you saw.
Oh, no, sorry. Yes, it does talk about this. And then it says 2 candles lit up as soon as he urinated on the grave. And then so when that happened, they took off running and they got back in the truck, and evidently, okay, so he says my buddy got in the truck and he was pale with a huge handprint on his arm. The second time we went, he said the second time they went to the grave, his car wouldn't start.
What movie does that remind me of with the handprint? What was that? Was that Freddy Krueger or was that The Ring? I think it was The Ring. I don't know. I just remember a red handprint on somebody.
Yeah. And evidently, so the other time it did say that his car wouldn't start and they had to they had to push it out of sight before they could get it started. And he said again, his buddy, I guess it was the same buddy, went pale and had handprints everywhere, like all over him, evidently. So this was what happened to them. So so that was the weird happening, according to that.
Oh, okay.
Now it does say the rest is on the phone. It was about that. Okay, so I do have this story by Kip. So Kip, according to Kip, this is a haunting by the Reverend Dehorn, I guess. So he just mentioned in January of 2005, he and his buddy had gotten some equipment together, and they had been making plans to go on a crazy adventure out to, I guess, Dehorn's grave. Okay. And so, and they were wanting to do some ghost hunting. So they had been watching some programs, probably Ghost Hunters, I would guess. I loved Ghost Hunters, but they did pack up some flashlights.
We should call ours the 40-year-old moms ghost hunting club. Yeah, we'll just start it right now. Anybody that wants to be part of the 40-year-old moms ghost hunting club, just call us.
You must be.
We'll take you on a ghost hunt.
You must be 40 plus to go on this.
Yes. Of course. Yeah, we don't want anybody under 40.
So this was 2005, and he did say they took flashlights, a digital camera, and a handheld tape recorder. That's awesome. So now we should have taken one of those.
That's a good idea. Like we videotaped it. Yeah, we videotaped.
We did videotape, but we have a recorder on our.
I know, but it's cooler to take an old tape recorder. I've bought like 2 tape recorders in the last 12 months.
Have you used them?
Well, actually, yeah, I've used them both. Yeah.
Okay.
One was for a costume. One was for a costume. I needed a Walkman, like an old.
So it was a prop. It's a prop. It's a problem.
I have one right back here somewhere. Yeah.
Okay, so it does say it was about 9:00, and they stop at the cemetery, which, was where the mysterious
Sounds like us. Sounds like
Reverend Dehorn was buried. Yeah. And the cemetery was located off an old county road, and you had to travel back into a wooded area, down a sandy road, and through a cornfield to reach it. So,
Fran, so the gate must have been closed for them.
Yes. So I'm thinking, because Fran could swear last night, she was like, it is not this easy to get out here. And she was just like adamant.
That probably explains that. Yes, we kind of caught it at a good time.
Yes, we did. No. We caught it with the gate open, and
so we didn't have to trespass through anybody's field or anything like that. Yes, so we lucked out.
We did luck out. And bear with me. 2, 1. So continuing on the Kip Davis. So it does say when him and his friend finally arrived at Dehorn's grave, like it was pitch dark, and they did mention that it was 9 p.m. so it was really late, and they noticed a big tree that was uprooted and was kind of blocking the entrance. And he said that
didn't we see one of those last night, an uprooted tree?
Yes,
he said don't go in there. It was like there was a tree and there was lots of bushes, and I'm like,
we were afraid it was rotted. That tree was rotted, and we were afraid that you were gonna like crash through.
I was okay. I was wearing my boots. It was okay.
We were just looking out for you.
Aw.
But it does say they climbed over it, and they were taking pictures of the grave area. And he also took his tape recorder and was recording like the noise as well. And he laid it on the front of Dehorn's tombstone. So he did lay that. So then he says they got back in the car and headed down to like another cemetery to get some pictures. And then about an hour later, they made their way back to Dehorn's grave. So I guess he left his recorder there the whole time. Okay.
Oh.
So he was anxious to see if there was any unusual sounds or messages. And then he urged Robert, his friend, to go get the recorder while he was taking pictures of the stone. And his friend didn't want to. And he was like, no, you need to go do it. I know. And then finally they both walked over there, and then his friend shined the flashlight down on it, and basically and it said it shook and the recorder was gone. He looked all around the area. So basically either like they were like, okay, someone either came and took the recorder or something. They just didn't know what happened to the recorder. Okay.
Oh,
they were thinking maybe someone or something had, taken. and then he says, who knows?
He laid it on top of the grave.
Well, evidently he laid it like at the foot of the grave is what he said. But he did say maybe Reverend Dehorn was offended by the intrusions.
Right.
And then he did say he went back to his house, and he was uploading pictures onto the computer. And then only one showed something unusual, and it was from like a different cemetery that they had gone to while they were, after Dehorn's.
Right.
And then it just said around one tombstone was a very bright glowing light. So,
I didn't know any of this when we went, so I really didn't pay much attention to the footage or the pictures that I took. I was on camera duty last night. Yes. So you didn't tell me about the green glowing thing, so I didn't look for any of that. I was just along for the ride and the pizza.
Yeah. Now he did say, okay, later that same night, so he was sleeping. Him and his wife were sound asleep, okay? And he said at 12:30 a.m., like right after midnight, their stereo comes blaring on in their living room.
Really?
Full blast. And it was playing it's playing I'm a Soul Man.
I'm a Soul Man. I love that song. Hey, didn't we just talk about Dan Aykroyd, or was that the podcast before? I'm so tired. We did 2 tonight.
We did. We did talk about Dan Aykroyd.
He was a blues brother, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he was. And at Ghostbusters. Yeah. And he wrote he was instrumental in writing. He wrote
Ghostbusters, yes.
Yes, he wrote Ghostbusters. And his family.
Okay, we're bird walking. Okay. We'll do a whole episode on Dan Aykroyd. Maybe we can get him on the program. Yes.
We should. And then it said, okay, so this was blaring, and they jumped out of bed, and his first thought was that they had a car ram into their house. And then he went into that was if that sound was coming out of your living room blaring in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And then it said it took him almost all night to get back to sleep. And then he said, could this have been a warning from Reverend Dehorn?
I don't know.
Was this soul man telling me to leave him alone?
Nothing strange happened to us on the way home, except for the Bulldog was closed when we got there. So that was the only thing, unfortunate that happened. On the way home, we tried to stop by the Bulldog for ice cream, and they were closed. We didn't get there in time.
Yes. So, the Bulldog is in Bald Knob, kind of in between us and McCrory. So if you ever get a chance, go to the Bulldog, except do not go minutes before they're closing, because they're going to be like, we're closed.
Yeah.
And we couldn't get ice cream.
So, we stopped at Wendy's and got Frosties. Well, y'all did. I didn't. So.
Why are you telling this?
I don't know. I thought it was interesting. I don't know.
The Frosty was really good. Hey, it is. Okay, so tonight is like New Year's Eve. So we have one more day. We have one more day to live it up, Amby.
Live it up.
Okay.
Oh yeah, because we're going on our healthy living kick starts January 1st. So.
Yes, and then we will no longer discuss our holiday pies
or Captain D's
or Captain D's or pizza trips.
Well, I have to have one cheat day. And that cheat day has to have Captain D's.
Yeah.
So okay, so we're getting okay. So is it question time?
Yes. So
okay.
Do you have any questions? Because I still have a little bit more to chat about McCrory, and then I'll sum up my opinion.
Well, I mean, knowing all this now after the fact,
after the fact,
it's hilarious because like Lisa is so tight-lipped about things. She doesn't tell me anything. Anything I know about a case she's doing, I have to look up myself. She won't tell me anything. I just spill everything. Yeah. And like I FaceTimed her. Yeah, I FaceTimed her this morning at a site, because I couldn't wait till the podcast to show her this stuff. So I really didn't know any of this about the glowing grave or the dude that lost his tape recorder. I didn't know any of that stuff.
Yes.
And I think I would have been a little more unnerved when I was there. I did think like I said, it was totally my Blair Witch moment. We might have another one of those.
Go look at her picture. Her picture.
Yeah, I did.
There's no snot. There needed to be snot.
Yes, I took a selfie of me with the beanie, with the total Blair Witch vibe going. So I don't even like that movie that much. I mean, it was okay. I was a teenager. I watched it like everybody else, but
it came out in 1999. People, and
99,
it came out
fall of '99, our freshman year of college.
It was literally like the thing to go do. And when we went to see it, it was a packed theater.
Oh yeah. I didn't go with y'all. I went with another person, like I was with in Jonesboro, I think.
I know I was with Corbett, and I don't know if Courtney was with us, but it was a packed theater. And because here's the premise. So if you haven't seen Blair Witch Project, that one, like the premise was this really happened, and that's how they put it out, that this was a documentary, that this really happened, and the only way you knew it was fiction was if you watched the entire movie, and then how they do that little blip, it said these were fictional characters. And because we all
thought it was true at first.
I think the way they marketed the movie, it was a documentary, and they filmed it that way.
Yeah, all that.
So you're freaking out thinking it's real,
right,
until you know it's not.
I think, though, that I would have felt a little more scared, and I think I would have had the snot going on. Maybe I would have been scared if I'd known not really.
All the details.
All the details. Because it is it's scary, thinking all that. But, I'm kind of, as you're talking, I'm looking through like Ancestry, and there's a lot of things on Ancestry about him as well. So,
he had evidently he had a daughter, and it says Mrs. Mabel Christine Dehorn Fultz. I did find this, that she passed just this year. She passed in October. And so it does mention that she was from Patterson, and that her parents was Pastor William and Mrs. Vinnie Works Dehorn. And that's what it says. But it does have, they do. And I did try to reach out to one of her children, this Mrs. Mabel Christine Dehorn Fultz. I think it was like the wife of one of the children. So, and I haven't gotten a response yet. So that might be a follow-up.
And if we do, we'll let you know.
Yeah, if we do. But Kip Davis did respond. So I will.
Cool. I just friended him, so he's going to think we're both weird. So I found him and I friended him.
Go check him out on the Amazon. But did you have questions about this one? Because
not really.
I have to plug some McCrory stuff real fast.
Oh yeah, because I do want to talk about the pizza a little bit because that was really
the
nice.
Pizza is
and
iconic.
The salad bar. Yes, it really was. So go to
and
the
there
Pizza
was a birthday
Plus
party
McCrory.
going on. There's a birthday party.
Yeah, so it felt like my house.
Was loud.
Boys screaming everywhere.
Yeah.
Boys, like I live in a frat house. I live with 4 males. So
I'm sorry. I'm laughing because I don't.
Well, Lisa comes to and Lisa knows not to come in unless I've cleaned because Lisa's house is spotless, and so I don't let her in unless
I won't say spotless
unless I have cleaned all day. And so here she comes, just bebopping in, and then she comes down the hall straight for my bathroom. I'm like, no, because I haven't cleaned it.
You were like, get in the living room, and then you wouldn't even let me last night. You wouldn't even let me go any further. You're like,
the hall.
You can't move. She's like, you can't move beyond this in the living room.
This is the safe zone. This is the safe zone. Yeah. And I'm like, cleaning. I just haven't got to the bathroom yet. So, but yeah. But we got in the car and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. And she just kind of looked at me. She's like, we're going to have fun. And we did. So we had a really good time. I really enjoyed hanging out with Fran. So it was fun. And that was probably the longest I've ever spent time in McCrory. So
yes.
Yeah, it's a cool little place.
Me too. I have been to, it seems like I know I've stopped by in fact, me and Fran, we went to Memphis not too long ago. So you do have to drive through McCrory to get to Memphis if you're coming from Searcy.
So I've been through there to get to Memphis.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you've been through it, but literally when you're driving through McCrory, you don't even know there's a downtown because when you're driving through on the highway, it's literally like a gas station. That's kind of
what I was thinking. Right.
And a Sonic. And a Subway. It's like 3 things. I don't even know if there's a stoplight there on it, to be honest. You just drive through. But it is, hey, people, it is a speed trap. So you better be on your game. You better slow it down.
Yeah.
Just don't speed through McCrory. You shouldn't speed anyway, but I'm an advocate for safe driving. Okay. But just be careful. But if you're from McCrory, you would know Fran is Franny. For one thing.
Oh, nice.
That
I like that.
Yes. And and her mom was a school teacher for a very long time. And she played the piano in her church. And Fran introduced us to Pizza Plus, which was, like we said,
she's
Plus
a former president of my sorority. So that's cool.
Fran is a
and I didn't know that till we just happened to talk about what sororities we were in, and we were in the same one.
She's famous, so. And if you are from McCrory, you know the mascot for the high school or the football team is the McCrory. How does she say it? I call it Jaguar, but it's the Jaguar.
I call it Jaguar.
She says Jaguar. McCrory Jaguar. Mm-hmm.
I just say Jaguar.
That's how you know if you're a real McCroryan, right? McCroryan. Is that what they call themselves?
I have no idea. But we call ourselves Searcyans?
Yes, we are Searcyans and Arkansans. But McCrory does have something called Mosquito Fest.
Oh, nice.
And it's evidently...
Now, I've been to Augusta Days, and I love Augusta Days. I haven't been in a couple of years, but...
Well, evidently, you haven't been to it all because you have not been to Mosquito Fest.
Oh, well, put that on our ever-growing calendar.
Yes, we're gonna go to Mosquito Fest. And the school colors are orange and black, like Halloween colors.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well...
So that is my McCrory bit. But I will tell you, my opinion on Dehorn's grave is that Dehorn was just an awesome dude. He was obviously...
Who got a bad rap, apparently.
He got a bad rap after he passed. And I think it's like anything else. It's like he had this tombstone that was old looking and in a cemetery out in Nowhereville. And that's creepy.
Nowhereville.
And people latch onto that, and then it's like that telephone game. It's like the Galloway Gertie.
I mean, but it is. It's that's how folklore works. But I still love it. I love it. You know,
I love it too. So, but it's like
maybe there'll be some folklore about us someday.
Yeah. We can only hope. But so Dehorn was obviously an awesome guy that had a nice family, and he lived a long life, and he passed away to pneumonia, a natural death, at the age of 72, and he was not executed, people. He was not hung. He was not executed. He helped the police. He helped thousands of people. So, bottom line.
Awesome. He was, so another legend explained by us.
Another legend.
Awesome. Okay, so go ahead.
Ooh. So, people, I do want to talk about this, Ambi.
Okay, please don't make that a thing.
No, we need to make this a thing. I think I screenshotted this. Okay, so I think that we need to discuss. I thought I screenshotted this. I'm sorry.
I'm going to print out all your screenshots next time so you can go through them.
No,
I put everything on a page.
There was a earthquake.
Oh yeah, there really was.
Remember, we need to discuss this. So there was an earthquake. It was like a 3-point something.
Yeah, the day that I was the first time I was in Jackson County this week.
Huh? On the 27th?
Yeah, I was in Jackson County.
That was the day we left for I was in Branson. So
yeah,
evidently this earthquake was felt kind of in the northeast part of our state.
There, I did not feel anything but that.
You didn't feel anything?
That's not true. I think the report said it was about noon. We didn't really get there till 1, so maybe I just missed it.
I did have some people on my Facebook that live in the Jonesboro area. Again, this is like Craighead County area that did feel it.
Well, of course, they're by the New Madrid Fall. Of course.
Yes. Well, we all are. And do you remember?
That used to scare me to death when I was a kid.
Well, in school, nowadays they have active shooter drills, but back when we were in elementary, they had earthquake drills. I remember many earthquake drills.
I vividly remember being in 4th grade under my desk, thinking, how is this desk going to save me from an earthquake? That's like when they took us to the hall, made us put books over our head during tornado drills. Yes, I remember those too.
So that was our news for Arkansas. So we had an earthquake.
Yeah.
A couple days ago. So true story. So, and we did. Okay. So we did talk about pizza. We've hit all the high notes tonight, guys, but we do want to thank
pizza. Yeah.
We do want to thank you all for listening. And we've had so many people reach out to us. Go back and listen to some of the other shows we do have. This will be our 7th episode, so you will have number 7 opportunities.
And number 8 is actually coming soon. I think we're going to try to film, not film, but we're going to try to record that tomorrow on New Year's Eve. So maybe Monday, whatever, or something like that.
Yes, we can do it.
Yes,
What am I doing? I mean,
I was fixing to say, I thought you said you didn't have New Year's Eve plans.
Yeah,
I don't.
I'm going to be watching. We normally travel.
TV. You said you're going to be watching crap TV and sitting on your couch.
I can only
unquote.
I think I want Mexican food.
Oh, that sounds good. I was thinking we were going to get like Chinese food or something. I don't know. We're going to get something good
recently. I've had the Asian food. We had the pizza. Oh, I made spaghetti today. I'm trying to get in all like. Oh, hey, I do want people
before our diet, all the good food before our diet.
Yes, before we diet.
Yeah.
No,
well, not diet. Healthy living. Healthy living. We're not on a diet. We're on a healthy living kick.
Yeah, which means I can't have a large frozen Coke every day. Ugh.
No, just one cheat day. Just like I'm gonna have one day that's my Captain D's day.
I'm gonna have to wean myself off the frozen Coke. I haven't had one today. I haven't had.
You need an IV of frozen Coke.
But I'm literally sitting here in PJs, so clearly I haven't left the house today.
Yeah. Okay, well, that is it.
It's not.
One more thing.
It's not it. Okay, remember, we did this in the other episode, but we're doing it again. So we do have some listeners in Germany. A listener. You said a listener in Poland.
It was either Poland or Hungary. I don't remember
Italy.
Which one.
Italy was on there too.
I can look real fast while you're talking. Actually.
So we do have some. If you are from these countries, please email us at unexplainedarkansas@gmail.com. And we have, again, we're having so much growth.
Lisa likes to know her international presence is now.
I'm just intrigued. I'm intrigued. I want to know more about you guys listening.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, and if you have any interesting unexplained stories, we do have, we've had 2 listeners reach out about what's called the Maud Crawford disappearance. So I will be researching that soon.
Cool.
So
okay, so I have it. It's next. United States, Poland, Germany, and Italy. That's our audience right now.
Excellent.
Yeah, I don't know where I got hungry. So.
Hungry?
Okay.
So maybe you were hungry.
I was hungry, yes. So we don't have very many comments this time, but we'll probably do comments next episode. Yes. The next episode we are doing is on the mystery surrounding Georgia Tan, the quote unquote baby thief. Some people called her a baby thief. Some people say, well, anyway, there's lots of stuff to go into, but she has ties to the Arkansas area, and very interesting stuff. So that may be a 2-parter too. So episode 8 and 9, maybe a 2-part. We'll just see how it goes. But other than that,
and then we need to do an unsolved death. Okay, 10.
Yeah, we're kind of trying to ping pong between, ghosty stuff, UFO stuff, and then unsolved cases. So, just kind of hit all the highlights. But by the time you listen to this, there will be 7 banked episodes. Yay! And then 2 more on the way pretty soon. And so this is just, going along swimmingly. So, swimmingly. Swimmingly, but we're really enjoying it, and we appreciate everyone who is listening, and we are reading all the comments. We're reading all the emails. We may be a couple of days to respond to emails, but we will respond to you. We have a great Instagram following. I think we are almost to 600 on Instagram.
No, I think we have 600.
Have we hit 600 today? I didn't look. I haven't looked since this morning, but we're about 600.
623.
Oh my gosh!
On Instagram. So yay. And
we're trying to hit 500 on Facebook. So if you haven't followed us on Facebook, please do that.
Yes, go into the Facebook and again, follow, and reach out to us. So we really want to hear.
We will respond back. So that's it. That's all we have for today's episode of Unexplained Arkansas.
New Year's.
Yes, happy
I don't know
New
what it'll
Year's.
be when this is uploaded.
Yeah, this will drop by New Year's. So okay. It'll drop like the New Year's ball.
Dropping it.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you guys. Yeah, thank you guys. The 2 people listening now. Yeah.
The 2 people.
Thank you very much. And we will talk to you guys soon.
Love ya. Bye.
Love ya. Bye.